Hello? Hello out there, Linda, you shy? Come on. These people came to see you. They came to see you, Linda. Don't be shy. Don't have stage fright. You're beautiful. Look at that face. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Friday Night Live. I'll just wait for a minute for people to join in. This is Linda. This is my Linda face. Hello, Christy. Hey, Amy. If you're out there, say hello. Tell me where you're from. We'll get started in just a minute, and we're going to be talking today about UTIs, urinary tract infections, and not only how CBD can help, but a little bit of basic information about what they are, what kind of causes them generally, and then some other really great natural ways to help get rid of them, or at least help ease the pain in the meantime. Hello, Susan. What's up? Nice to see you again. So this is, you're currently seeing us from New York City. This is one of the CBD dog health offices, aside from the Fireflake Farm, our rescue in Tampa. This is our other office, and this is Linda. For those of you who don't know her, she's one of our spokes dogs here. So thank you so much for coming. Like I said, today we are going to be talking about UTIs and CBD and natural remedies that are going to help your dogs, cats, and other furry friends feel a little better with this uncomfortable condition. Linda, can you give me a second? I'm gonna go talk to the people. Okay. All right, everybody. Let's do this. So, what are urinary tract infections? Basically, a UTI is a bacterial infection that can be caused by a number of different things. But basically, it is a bacterial infection that gets into the urethra and can then from there spread to various parts of the urinary tract. So the bladder or the kidneys, and if it gets into the bladder and starts infecting the bladder, that is called cystitis. It can be much worse than it is to begin with. So these bacteria, they get in there and they cause inflammation, they cause pain. The symptoms that we see with our dogs oftentimes when this is happening, because it can be hard to spot, frequent urination, strained urination. You see them very uncomfortable, blood in the urine. They're licking their nether regions because of the discomfort. They're incontinent. They can't keep it in. If it smells really bad or has an odd color aside from that, blood is another really common sign. And then pain, any similar to the straining, when you see them just in discomfort, if they're yelping or they start growling, you see changes in their behavior. That's a good sign. And then I think probably one of the best signs, and it is a really good indicator that something is wrong and that you should probably figure out what you need to do to correct this problem, is that you have a pet or an animal that is housebroken that would never usually do this, that starts then having these problems and having accidents around the house. This can also, that isn't necessarily a sign of a UTI, but it often does happen as a result. Chris says, can I ask about remedy salves and lumps? Yeah, I'll talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, those are kind of some of the common symptoms of UTIs. It's hard to know exactly what it is, what bacteria is causing it, without having somebody analyze their urine. You can go to your vet if you're really nervous about it, and they can do what's called a urinalysis, where they will test for the different bacteria that are in the urine to confirm that it is a UTI. But what you want to know is that there are a lot of things that you can do at home that are going to be able to not only prevent this, but if you do suspect a UTI, then you can actually help it in a lot of ways. And in most cases, you should be able to get rid of it on your own. Now, I am not a veterinarian, so these things that I am sharing with you are what I have learned and what I have gleaned from our veterinary advisors and from a lot of research. But these are some really great strategies. I don't want any of this to come in place of really sound medical advice, but here are some really great things that can help. So one of the first things that you need to know is, like in a lot of these lives that we have, we talk about diet. This is one of the main ways that these bacteria that can infect the urinary tract, that's how they come to be there in the first place. So you have the urinary tract can become inflamed. That chronic inflammation can result from poor diet, because as we know, a lot of these times, the diets that we're feeding our dogs, that are these kibble diets, most often, they're high in starches, high in carbohydrates, which then really break down very quickly to form sugars that are very delicious for these bacteria. And the bacteria can just feed off of those sugars, and they can multiply really quickly, creating inflammation. They can really mess with the immune system throughout the GI tract, so that when there are these opportunistic bacteria that come in and cause a UTI, it's just a really fertile ground for them to be able to set up shop and cause all those really uncomfortable symptoms for our dogs and cats. So one thing that can be really beneficial for UTIs, both if you are already suffering from one or if you just want to prevent them, is to change their diet to something that is more species appropriate, more ketogenic. We are big proponents of raw feeding or freeze-dried raw, fresh whole foods that have much lower carbohydrates than those typical like processed kibble diets. And that will help give less food, reduce inflammation, that can leave our animals open to these kinds of infections. Another really awesome thing that you can do if you suspect that there's UTI, or you have a pet that is prone to UTIs, is use a natural silver hydrosol. It's also known as colloidal silver. And colloidal silver is kind of known as like the first natural antibiotic. It was used for a long time for its natural antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. That's another really great thing that you can just put in their water. You can put it in their water. You can spray it in their mouth if you need. If you need to find the dosage for that, there's some great companies. On the Healing Naturally store, we have a silver hydrosol there for sale that also has instructions on how much to give your pets. So you can check that out there. This is another really great product that we use on the farm that our founder, Angela Arlino, she uses with some of the dogs that are prone to urinary tract infections. This is Amber Naturals Urinary Tract Support. And so this is a really great one. It's got black seed in it and a bunch of other really great natural antibiotics and products that are going to help to rebalance the urinary tract. And so these products are all ones that are going to help. These last two that I mentioned specifically are the ones that are going to really help with killing the bacteria that is overgrown in the urinary tract. And there are kind of two different things that need to happen in order for you to handle a UTI. First, you got to kill everything that's in there. And then second, you want to provide support for the whole system. You want to give them relief from the discomfort and pain, which can be pretty intense. And then, you just want to rebalance that whole system. And that's where a full spectrum hemp extract, where CBD can be really beneficial. Now, CBD also has antimicrobial and antibacterial properties as well. So it can be really fantastic for that. But where CBD really shines is in supporting the rebalancing of the urinary tract and maintaining that to prevent future UTIs. Of course, before we get into really the specifics about how CBD works to help with UTIs, if this really does become a problem and you see your pet a change of how how they're acting that's pretty significant, if you have sustained blood in the urine, speak to your vet, absolutely, because like I said, if this does go unchecked, this kind of infection can infect the bladder. You can have cystitis. It can then get to the kidneys. So you really don't want that to happen. You don't want this to go unchecked. You want to make sure that you treat it. And what a lot of our vets will say is that there are definitely cases where an antibiotic is necessary. We definitely want to be cautious about overusing antibiotics and creating resistance to them and also just destroying the gut microbiota. But there are cases where this is a necessary way to reset the gut and get you back to the place. So next I'm going to talk about exactly how CBD can really help with this condition. And if anybody else has any questions out there, please feel free to comment there. Julia says, we love your products. Our dogs and us humans use them too. Me too. I use all of our stuff, and all of our dogs here do too. Hey, Jenny, nice to see you. Hi, Chris. Thank you guys all for coming. So happy to see you all here. All right, let's talk about how CBD can help. So there are a number of ways that can be super beneficial to give your dog, cat, horse a CBD tincture if they've got a urinary tract infection. And the first one is first and foremost by reducing inflammation throughout the urinary tract. Like I said in the beginning, one of the ways that these infections happen is because of chronic inflammation through the urinary tract. So it's through the urethra, in the kidneys, in the bladder, that opens these areas up to be vulnerable to infection by these different bacteria. And so not only does reducing inflammation prevent these in the long run, but while they are happening, that inflammation that is then knocked on by further bacterial infection, that is one of the main things that really causes a lot of pain for our animals. So, we can reduce inflammation so then the immune system has a better fighting chance to actually respond to the threat at hand. And also that reduces the pain. Not only does reducing inflammation stop the pain that they're feeling, but CBD itself is a really powerful analgesic. So that's another way that it can help a lot to animals that are suffering from UTIs. It makes them feel less uncomfortable. So I don't know about you guys, but I've once had a UTI before, and it was so uncomfortable. So it is something that CBD can definitely help a lot with, to just reduce that pain, reduce the discomfort, and then without that pain and discomfort, the stress that comes along with it, it is all the symptoms are sort of all interconnected, and they, the stress leads to more pain and discomfort, leads to more inflammation. So it can be this kind of self-repeating cycle, and that's why CBD is so great for rebalancing and bringing the body back to what's called homeostasis, a state of balance. We've got some questions here. It looks like. Is it safe for humans? It is absolutely safe for humans. All the products that we recommend, I wouldn't give my dog anything that I wouldn't take myself, quite honestly. I probably won't eat raw meat anytime soon, but in terms of CBD, the CBD Dog Health Tincture Ease, which you see in that picture right there, it is absolutely human grade. They're made for pets, so can't technically recommend them for people, but I, as a person, do use them. It's the best stuff you can buy. Another way that I mentioned that CBD is really great for this kind of infection is CBD helps to fight bacteria. It's naturally got antibacterial properties. So this, I don't want to lead on in this that CBD is going to replace an antibiotic or any of those other really fantastic treatments, natural treatments like the colloidal silver hydrosol, as it's known, or that Amber's Natural product. Those are much more focused on destroying bacteria. CBD does have gentle antibacterial properties, which will only help with those that those other products are using. So, the goal in the end is to do as much as we can to not have to blast our animal's gut with a pharmaceutical antibiotic, because that can often then set us into this cycle where we've destroyed the gut microbiota and we're constantly trying to get back to a healthy gut and out of gut dysbiosis. We've got some other questions here, it looks like. Tracy, hi Tracy. A friend has a dog with chronic UTIs. They get fewer and further in between when switching to a raw diet, but after beginning to feed fermented fish stock, they've almost disappeared. Fantastic. P.S. I dig the stash very much. All right. Nice. Well, thank you very much, Tracy. I appreciate it. I'll keep it then. Fermented fish stock. That's really great. This is another case where we're talking about the gut microbiome, having a really healthy, good bacteria, a population of great bacteria that is going to actually help fight off this kind of infection. We want to have the right balance of good bacteria in the gut so that the immune system is going to be able to respond to this and hopefully have fewer and fewer of these. And like I said, the raw diet is going to be a really fantastic way to make that happen. So if you do have a dog, if you're out there and you're feeding a kibble diet still or partially kibble diet, there are tons of resources in our group, CBD and Holistic Pet Advice, as well as others. You can listen to our founders podcast, It's a Dog's Life, with Angela Ardolino. There are a ton of really great resources on there to learn about raw feeding, so that you can make that transition in a really healthy way that your dog's going to be able to tolerate and thrive with. Cool. Chris says you use a different organic CBD oil. That's awesome. We always say we are not the only CBD company that is doing it right. I would just recommend that you make sure that they are a full spectrum product at a reasonable potency. So we started around 9 milligrams per milliliter, and that's really kind of as low as we would go. Make sure that it is organically grown in the United States with no additional oil or flavorings or anything in there. You want to have it be as simple and high quality as possible. Make sure you see their certificate of analysis so that you know everything that they say about it is true of what's in the bottle. But yeah, I hope that you got a really good product. And if you want some advice about it or you want us to have a look at it, happy to give you an objective opinion on it. I have no problem giving props to other companies that are doing it well. Julia loves It's a Dog's Life. I also love it. Cool. Is ours stronger than Pet Relief? So we do make a tincture that is higher potency than anything that Pet Relief does. And it's also not about strength. We think of strength in terms of like painkillers. Like you have higher doses of painkillers, and if you go in one direction, the more you use, the more it's going to kill pain. Strength isn't necessarily the way that we want to think of it. We have, we want something that is going to work specifically for our animals. And there is, the way that we make sure that our products really do the best that they possibly can is by, holding ourselves to really high standards of production. So everything we do is super high quality, human grade. We're harvesting only from the flowers of the hemp plants, which is where the greatest abundance of those bioactive compounds like cannabinoids like CBD and different terpenes and flavonoids, these scientific terms, but what they mean are these different therapeutic compounds that are found naturally in the plant. And so, a lot of other companies, their pet products, they're going to be harvesting from different parts of the plant, like the leaves and the stalks and the parts that the human products don't necessarily want to keep. They throw them away and they give them to the pet brands. But everything that we do is as good as you can get it. It's all super high quality, human grade. So, Pet Relief, they were the first on the market. They're a big company. And so, I haven't peeked behind their curtains, but when companies get that big and their scales of production are that large, you lose quality in how close you can be to the farmers. We know all of our farmers. I know that Abe is working on our tinctures. I know the women who are farming our lavender. So it's you just being closer to the source, in my opinion, is better. Anyway, where were we? We're talking about CBD. We're talking about, for anybody who just arrived or is tuning in afterwards, we are talking about how CBD can help with UTIs. We've already talked about how its anti-inflammatory properties throughout the urinary tract can help to prevent infection and reduce the length and the severity of it, and also reduce the amount that it hurts our pets. There's also the analgesic properties of CBD. It is naturally antibacterial and antimicrobial. It can stimulate appetite, which oftentimes we see when our pets are getting these UTIs. They stop eating, which can then contribute to them being more lethargic, having less energy, and just kind of compound these ailments. And additionally, the final and kind of one of the more important pieces is that CBD and the other cannabinoids in a full spectrum hemp extract, like our Ease tincture, they really help to rebalance the immune system. So the way that it works is if the immune system is under functioning, it will boost that production, it will boost that function. If it's overactive, like in the case of an allergic reaction, it's going to suppress it. So it's always modulating to bring the body back to balance. And in cases like this with a UTI, this kind of balancing force is going to stimulate the immune system to fight back, to be able to fight that bacteria off, but then conversely at the same time to help reduce that inflammation so the body can kind of get out of panic mode and actually focus on getting rid of the bacteria, reducing pain, and functioning in a more optimal way. So as you can see, there's a ton of different ways that CBD can help. And as always, like I'm going to keep saying it, it's best to come at this kind of a condition and all conditions with a broad range of different tactics, a multimodal approach, working with their diet, find great natural antibiotics like colloidal silver, silver hydrosol, or products like Amber Naturals UTI Rescue, and then working with a full spectrum hemp extract. The one that we recommend and that we make that would be really powerful for this is our Ease tincture. So Ease has 550 milligrams of CBD per bottle, 9 milligrams per dropper, for those of you who wanted to know. And it not only has that full spectrum hemp extract in it with the CBD, but it also has other really powerful anti-inflammatory herbal medicines like turmeric and frankincense. So those are really great, both for their antibacterial and antimicrobial properties like in frankincense, but also they're super anti-inflammatory. They're great for the immune system. MCT oil is fantastic for the gut and for the urinary tract. It's very anti-inflammatory. So this has got a whole bunch of things in there that are going to support the recovery, that are going to prevent it from happening again. And above all else, it just makes our pets feel better, which is, kind of the most important thing in situations like this. We oftentimes will first see that our pets have a UTI by them just not acting like themselves. They're uncomfortable, they're lethargic, or they're straining when they're trying to pee, and we hate to see that. So what this can offer them is some comfort to relax and to just feel better so that they can then deal with the problem and move on from it. So that's kind of my spiel on CBD and UTIs. If anybody out there has any questions, you have got me here for a little while longer. I know that somebody was asking about salves, but also if you have any questions about UTIs and how CBD can help, I'm happy to answer those here. Or if you comment afterwards, if you're watching this later on and you want to comment, we'll come back and we will answer those as well. Let me find that one question that somebody had about skin salves. Oh, I see. Chris says, I have a nickel size raised lump. Been using it about a month. Looks much better, but far from gone. Okay. You're using the Remedy salve. Nice. So yeah, you've been using it for a month and I see applying it 3 times a day. First week you saw the biggest change. Okay, great. Yeah. I'm understanding, I'm reading, I'm getting caught up. I would just stay consistent with it. We've worked with a lot of different dogs and there's a lot of variance in how long it takes to get rid of these different lumps and bumps and tumors. If it is cancerous, I don't know, but there are so many different causes and so many different sources for these different neoplastic growths. So it's hard to say, to give any kind of prescribed, like, this is how long it's going to take to get rid of this bump, especially, coming through a computer screen like this. I have no way to see what's going on, but definitely stay consistent, especially if you've already seen those positive effects. And then, I would just keep on it and make sure that you're supporting your immune system in other ways, like we've been saying here, Diet is so important. If you aren't already using an oral tincture alongside it, is only going to help boost the entire immune system and your whole body's ability to find out or hunt down those cells that have those genetic mutations that are causing tumors and different lumps and bumps. So, pairing it with an oral tincture is a really great option. And I would just say, hang in there. We've seen a lot that took up to 6 months for bigger tumors. So I'd say that you're not out of the normal range after just a month and not seeing it disappear. So yeah, if there's nobody else out there, anybody out there? Anybody out there? Linda, where'd you go? Oh, there she is. Well, it is a holiday weekend. Linda does not want to talk. She just wants to put her head down. Linda, come on, talk to the people. Well, thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful Friday night and a great Labor Day weekend. And make sure you tune in for our next live. We're going to be releasing a schedule for the next month pretty soon, so you can plan and set your reminders to come and see us on our Friday night lives. My name is Carter Riesler. I'm the Director of Education at CBD Dog Health. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Susan. Bye, Chris. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Take care.